What is up, YouTube? Welcome back for another video. Today, I have Karthik on the podcast today. He is with UZ Marketing, and he is the COO there. And today, we're going to be talking about some marketing strategies for small business owners, whether you're just getting started, whether you've been in business for a while. They're willingly have come on here to share their knowledge and things that's going to help us all get more business. Obviously, marketing is one of the number one things in business. You can have a great product, great service, but if you do not have clients, you do not have customers, you're not going to stay in business. So, Karthik, thank you for coming on today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, man. I love watching your videos. It's good to get to know you and good to see you face to face on this thing. So let's do this.
Awesome. So I want to first off talking about some of the background of UZ Marketing. When did you guys start? You know, how long have you been around now? And what exactly do you do for businesses?
Yeah, sure. So it's actually a tricky two-part question, two-part answer. We've been around since 2011, but we've really been doing what we've been doing, which is printing, since 2015. Wow. So the long answer is we've been around since 2011, but we've been printing signs and we started doing the printing in 2015. And that's what we serve to our customers mostly is door hangers, yard signs, business cards, banners, flyers, you know, all that type of good stuff, the print marketing side.
Perfect. So with that being said, I want to talk about some of the physical things for obviously this physical marketing strategies. We obviously live in a digital world now where people are using social media and stuff, and we'll get into that. But I want to start off with some of the things that business owners should start off with when first launching their business. How do they pick the right marketing products? You know, whether you're a pressure washing company or a lawn service, and most of the audience on this channel is pressure washing, but there's some other guys here, you know, that are in other small businesses. But I know, you know, a lot of guys use yard signs or the door hangers. So let's talk about what are some good things to start off with. How do you choose the right products to get your message out?
Awesome. Yeah, that's an excellent question. And if you're starting a business, you're probably asking the same thing for yourself. So I actually recommend a couple of different things. And like you mentioned, it's going to be different based on the industry. Pressure washing and lawn care, a lot of similarities exist between the two because they're both service-based and they're both like property driven. The thing with lawn care is it's more residual, like you come every week. With pressure washing, it's like once every 6 months if you got a loyal customer. So the print marketing is going to be slightly different, but for both of them, I definitely recommend yard signs. And the reason I recommend yard signs is because the return on investment can be so potentially high, especially because if you put it outside your client's house, everybody in that neighborhood is watching that, is driving by that yard sign and they're seeing it. Another thing that I recommend is door hangers. And another thing that the reason that I recommend door hangers is because both of those industries, lawn care and pressure washing, just like with the yard sign, you can see the neighbors can see the sign. Whenever you finish doing a job, you can go to every 5 houses around. So your customer's next door neighbor to the left, next door neighbor to the right, and all 3 opposite as well. And all of them probably walk out their door and be like, oh, that's a good pressure washing job, or that's a good lawn care job. And then they have a little piece of marketing where they can call you. They got your pricing if you choose to put your pricing on that and all that. So that's what I would recommend for lawn care and pressure washing.
Okay, so let's talk about a little bit about a realistic budget for when they're first getting started. So whether it's buying the yard signs or door hangers or both, what type of budget should someone kind of have in mind when launching, a yard sign campaign, whether it's around the city or just putting them in customers' yards? Like, what type of budgets they expect, and how many should they put out to kind of get to make sure they're having enough reach? And I'm asking that because I've known for myself, you know, when we've done flyers, you may pass out 1,000 flyers or 2,000, and you shouldn't expect even. I would say from my experience, you shouldn't even expect like 100 calls. I mean, that would be crazy if you get 100 calls from 1,000 flyers. But what type of numbers and budget, should people be looking at?
Yeah, when it comes to the budget, I'd recommend around 350 to maybe 500. I know that's a stretch for people who just started. So there are ways to keep that budget a lot lower. You can come up with unique ways of marketing, like using business cards instead of flyers or business cards instead of door hangers. It's like a hack, a way to spend $25 on something you just slide it in somebody's door. Of course, the door hangers work a little bit better because you can fit more information. It's not going to be overcrowded. And it can also be segmented off based on what you want to say. For yard signs, depending on how you use them, the yard signs have the potential to just have so many impressions. And when I say impressions, is how many eyeballs lay on that thing. With yard signs, depending on how they're placed, if you place them strategically, like I've heard so many times, time and time again from other pressure washers, even on YouTube, that yard signs get the phone ringing. Now, as a business owner, you got to do the rest to close the deal, but those things get the phone ringing. So that's kind of like 350. I want to say 350. You could probably get get a little bit cheaper. Like if you want to go with the 12 by 18 yard signs, budget's really something that you're conscious about. There are ways to get around it, but I'd say $300, especially with the end goal of seeing a return on investment, is going to be worth it, because you put the money out expecting a return on investment. You get the calls, you make the sale, and then a couple jobs just pay for all the marketing material altogether.
Right. So like with pressure washing, a lot of the times, like, our service is a higher ticket service. So what he's saying right now, I mean, a $500 budget, I know a lot of you guys, if you're just getting started, that might seem like a lot of money, and you might not want to take that jump. But realistically, if you put that sign up, you spend $500 and you get a few phone calls. I mean, like one house wash, one, driveway or roof cleaning pays for, that campaign. And then every new customer you get leads you is a potential gateway to like more customers, with referrals if you're doing good work. So when it comes to one of the questions I've had with yard signs, I've never personally put out any yard signs around the city, but maybe you can speak on some of the strategy with placement. How do you make them stick? What are the best things to, most attention grabbing things you should say? I mean, obviously you have a very short time to grab their attention with yard signs if someone's at a stoplight or something, but how do you figure out where to place them at? I obviously see them everywhere. I know some cities have laws and stuff. So if you can just speak on that more, that'd be great.
Yeah, sure. So first off, it really depends, like strategically placing them around the city. That all depends on your city code. I don't want to sit here and say that you should do it, because it's going to potentially be something that you may not be able to do depending on your jurisdiction. But here's some tips that you're going to want to keep in mind. So if you're going to nail them, instead of staking them, have the flutes horizontal. The reason being is when the flutes are horizontal, it's basically the corrugation. When the wind hits it, it won't bend in the wind. Like you'll sometimes see signs that are just bent in the wind. And even though it's up there for 3-4 days, like if it's bent, you can't see them. Color scheme that I highly recommend is either blue or red. And especially if you're using them for, like, if you're trying to keep the cost low, you can get the results that you need from just one color. You'll be surprised how much results you can get from just a single color. You don't have to go full color. You don't have to put your logo on it. You don't have to pay buku bucks for these yard signs. It's kind of weird because I'm saying actually don't spend as much money with us, but I want to make sure you guys get the results that you're seeing. And the way that you can get the results is keeping it simple. 2 lines maximum of text. And that's because when you're driving past a sign, you don't have time to think about what's on the sign. You have to see the service. And if you're interested, like if you qualify yourself based on seeing that 1 line of text, your very next step should be either get a picture of the phone number or easily remember the phone number somehow. So I've seen a lot of times people put, and this happens all the time, and I can't expect customers who are not experts in the print industry to know this. But that's why I'm here to kind of explain it. If you put too much text on there and use a yard sign like it's a business card, it's just going to people are just going to tune it out. There's too much information on there. They can't pick and choose what you're trying to ask them to understand. So I definitely recommend 2 lines of text maximum. So let's say you're in pressure washing, power washing, house cleaning, phone number. Or let's say you're in lawn care, lawn services, whatever is dollars per square foot. I don't know. I'm just throwing a number out there. $25 per 100 square foot, whatever the industry price may be. So that's 2 lines plus the phone number. So it makes it really short, sweet, to the point. Yeah, that's
so as far as the Bandit signs go, and you can tell us the difference between, I watched one of your early videos and talk about the difference between Bandit signs and yard signs and in their use. So what you're saying with the Bandit signs is, those should be very just capture attention very quickly. So you shouldn't really try to focus on having your business name take up a lot of real estate and really cool graphics. So he's just saying that something that's straight to the point, boom, save the more well-designed ones for actual customers' yards. Is that kind of?
Exactly. That's exactly what I unintentionally referred to. So you said it right.
Okay, awesome. So with the Bandit signs, how often should you be ordering them and putting them out in the city? Like, I know obviously that some of them will get taken up. Another thing is competitors may pull them up. I've seen that happen. Mm-hmm. So how often do you think you should place them out?
That's funny that you mentioned that. I feel like losing your sign to a competitor is like part of the game, even though it's like everybody in the pressure washing group says it's like such a crappy thing to do. It's just part of the game. I mean, that's what happens. I mean, there's so many different personalities out there. But back to your main point of how often to order them. I actually think it depends on your business. And I hate to say it depends on your business because it's like it doesn't give you a clear answer. But if you have 100 signs and it lasts you like a couple weeks, if you go through 100 signs in a couple weeks, I'm hoping your calls are going through the roof. I hope that you have so many calls that you have to go out and take your signs back. Like that's the ideal situation, right? So there are a couple customers that we have that have multiple locations, and they get it every couple months. They get about 200-300 every couple months. There's a different industry that we work on, which is high-speed internet. This is a customer that has branches all over Texas, and they get 2,000 yard signs every single month, like clockwork. And they are our #1 customer. They order like so much within a year. But then there's other companies like roofing companies that don't use those type of signs at all. They use a different type of signs, and they are a Houston-based company, but they now have locations in San Antonio, Austin, Dallas, even Florida. And so they get these marketing every single month for these locations. Now, for the local, recently started, maybe 1 year, 2 years people, I've seen, let's say pressure washing, right? In the pressure washing industry, I've seen most commonly people order a set of 100 signs every 3 to 6 months.
Okay. So with those those print ways of marketing, and specifically still talking about like yard signs, one of the things I've seen with the Bandit sign strategy, people will have specific phone numbers they use just for the Bandit signs to track the amount of customers that the yard sign is getting. So was that something you would recommend, is maybe trying out different yard signs with maybe different call to actions or different colors, and put different phone numbers to possibly see which one are bringing you the most ROI? Or maybe even a number that you put on for, if you put a yard sign in a specific location, so you can see which location of the yard sign is bringing the most business.
Yeah, if you ask me, I love data. I love making database decisions. It's the best way you can possibly make a decision for your business. So I absolutely believe that, yes, you should have some way of tracking the metrics. So if you can see which location's working better, which color is working better, I think for the most part, generally speaking, the colors is not going to matter too much. You're going to see, I'm just throwing this out there, like 3 to 5% change in the number of calls, because at the end of the day, the sign is in the location. If they're interested, they're interested. If they're not interested, they're not interested. The color is only going to help it stand out from the background. Like if it's behind grass, then red is going to stand out behind grass. Or if it's in the sky, well, red is also going to stand out in the blue background. So you just don't want to have a green color yard sign, or green text on a green background like grass. Or you don't want to have like a full blue, sky blue design on a yard sign that's up in the air, and you can't really see it behind the sky. So aside from those things, like generally speaking, those things don't matter so much. But yeah, I definitely recommend, for sure, having some way to track your results, like which locations work better, which one gets the most calls, and things like that.
Perfect. So okay, so perfect. So we talked about a little bit about, being able to capture data. That way you can now track the ROI of your signs and putting those out. So as far as door hangers go, you mentioned the strategy of every job you do, just go around to the neighboring homes and just passing out. How effective have you seen that to be for businesses?
I've actually seen that to be relatively effective, but I don't think in and of itself it's going to be extremely successful. It's definitely going to be a supplement to everything else that you do as well. So if you drop the door hanger there, I mean, it's effective to the degree where I've seen a lot of times people they swear by it, because the neighbors, they see such a good quality job and they're probably interested in it. It works especially in roofing, because if a customer, if there's a business that's a roofing business, they go to a neighborhood and replace a roof, chances are the roofs all around that neighborhood also need a roof done. So that's going to be something as well. And then also in the pressure washing, if one person's driveway is really dirty or their siding has algae, then likely their neighbors also have it, because it's like these things happen over time. And because of that, like when one neighbor does something that makes their property look good, it's like the neighbors want to compete, keeping up with the Joneses. So I do see that to be pretty effective. Now, if you couple that additionally with a yard sign in the front, you also couple that with having a work truck when you're actually going up into the property that you're about to pressure wash, or that you're working on a roof, like you have branding on your vehicle and you also have your uniforms on. It just makes you look overall really good and professional. And all these things kind of work together. And then if you take it a step further, and whenever you're finished with a job, you go actually knock on those doors. And if they're not there, then leave the door hanger, but be like, hey, I just did the house next door to you. What'd you think? If you like so, here's my prices. You don't have to give me an answer now, but or give me your phone number, and if you're interested, I can give you a call. Take the sales process from that way, and it's going to help you with your route density and like keep yourself busy.
Awesome. What do you think that most new business owners kind of maybe not mess up on with their marketing, or don't execute well on? What are some things that you think that they can improve? Most new people maybe overlook when it comes to their marketing strategy. when they're first rolling out?
Yeah, absolutely. I think having a strategy in the first place is so key. I think it's very easy to think that just do like a one action and it's going to be that's all you have to do. Like, let me buy business cards and I don't have to think about marketing again, or let me get some yard signs and I don't have to think about marketing again. It's like a consistent thing, and the word strategy is so key because it has to play into your overall business structure. And like, let's say for instance you do the yard signs. What are you going to do after you get the phone call? What happens when you get too many phone calls? What happens when think the next few statements after, the next few things after you put out those yard signs. So I think when it comes to marketing strategies, you think about, how is this going to impact my business? If I get a lot of phone calls, am I going to have someone to answer the phones? Who's going to set the appointment up? And then one other thing that's kind of not related to marketing, but I do see businesses could really benefit from, is thinking about how to scale the business. That's like one of my favorite topics in business in general, because I've seen time and time again, and this is not anything bad by any means, but when people start out the business, they're working in the business rather than on the business. And I know that most people's end goal is to be able to have that business run without them. And in order to do that, like the marketing, yes, it has a part to play in it, but like scaling your business, it has a lot to do with having other people positioned in your business to handle those day-to-day things that you handle as a business owner, and being able to like step away from those things, like having to talk to customers is like, that's the person who goes to the house, washes the house. That person would be perfect for talking to the customer there, and then collecting payment, and then answering phone calls, all that stuff. All those things can be like kind of distributed among a core group of talented individuals that can help you run the business. And I think that scalability factor is like super essential. I want to say even more so than marketing, that in order to succeed as a business.
I love that. I think you made a very key point too. When you talk about not only having a strategy, but having systems in place once you have customers coming in. Because one of the things I realized with when I was a brand new business owner, and where I'm doing literally everything, I'm washing the houses, I'm taking the phone calls. What I realized is I missed a lot of business by being the person not only working but having to answer phone calls, because I'd be working, someone calls me, it's like, okay, I have to make a choice now. I don't want to stop and answer the phone. And if I don't answer the phone, there's competition, so they're probably not just calling me; they're going to call someone else, unless they were a direct referral. So I think that's super key, is that once you have those systems in place, once you have the marketing in place, that you have systems, and that you're not missing phone calls, and that you're answering on the first ring, and not making customers wait, because people have like ADHD and impatience these days. Like no one wants to no one wants to wait around anymore. Like we live in an instant world, instant results. No one wants to be put on hold for hours, stuff like that. So I think that's a very key point that you brought up. So combining the physical with the digital, you guys also, what I've seen on your website, you guys do digital marketing as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, not so much anymore. We used to primarily, but we moved more to print now. But
okay, so you guys are strictly print now?
Mostly, yeah.
Okay, got you. Okay, so even with that, like you guys don't do digital anymore, but obviously there's going to be, I definitely think a good marketing strategy combines both digital and physical in these days. That's super important. So obviously we got yard signs, door hangers. What are some of the other marketing material that sometimes may be overlooked, but that is actually pretty effective? Or little things, maybe it's, maybe people get branded pins that get to their customers. Like, what else do you recommend?
So you kind of mentioned this a little bit just a second ago about coupling online marketing with offline marketing. I kind of want to touch a little bit onto that before getting too much into the other nuanced print stuff. So the online marketing is so important. You guys watch Zay's channel, or you guys watch other channels out there, everybody's praising about online marketing. There's some very key certain things that you can do that are really simple. And I've said it in other videos too, which is get a Google My Business page, which is basically like a Facebook page, but on Google, on a Google Maps location. And then also get a Facebook page. And then after every job that you do, take before and after pictures, depending on what industry you're in, or just take a picture of the job that you've completed. And just whenever you're finished with the job, when you're right there talking to the customer or waiting for them to answer the door or something, put it on Google My Business and put it on Facebook. Those are free options that you can do to improve your ranking on Google and your credibility on social. So those are some things that you can do there. And a lot of the times people are praising nowadays about SEO. SEO is great. It can be kind of competitive, because now we're like, I want to say 10 years out from when Google was originally making some optimizations to their search engine algorithm. So now the search engines really prioritize high quality content rather than who can trick the search engine to thinking that they're the number one. So just produce excellent quality content. If you make a post on your pressure washing page, on your website, and you make a post about pressure washing, make it a unique post, like why you should consider using pressure washing services in the first place in Dayton, Ohio, for instance. Like, let's just say that that's the city. Use like keywords, provide value to the viewer and to the end user. So that's kind of my spiel about online marketing being a holistic part of the offline marketing. And then other things with marketing is like the print marketing. I actually think like you can send a thank you card at the end of the year. Those are a little bit like there's a price tag on there, but it shows the customer that you're still thinking about them. Let's say you washed their house or did their property like back in March, and you send them a holiday gift card. You're telling that customer that they're valued. Like you remember doing their like you remember doing the service for them enough to where you actually spend money. Like let's say 50 cents, 75 cents with postage, postcard, all that stuff. You spent the money and you took the time out of your day to sign a card and send it to them. So those are like some really good things you can do. And sometimes if you're in a business like pressure washing, just that action alone will put you back in their mind. Oh yeah, I got my driveway cleaned by them before. Now I got algae on the side of my house, or now I need my windows cleaned. So it's like you put yourself back in their head. So those are like some nuanced things that I would recommend.
Awesome. I love that. I think that's super vital. Those are some great tips. As far as with the print marketing, what age demographic do you think responds best to print advertising?
I actually think all demographics respond to it, depending on like the hard target market, right? Like when I want to say pressure washing, most of the people I don't see millennials or Gen Z responding as well to the yard signs for house washing, just because in my generation, I'm millennial, we look up a lot of things on YouTube, and we know in the pressure washing industry, actually, like people who use their friend or use their cousin or those pressure washing services, they kind of end up messing up the house because you can't do certain things. But like in our generation, like we love learning, and I'm on YouTube all the time to learn everything. So I think for pressure washing services, I definitely see the most people responding is 30, 33, 35 and up, homeowners that have been a homeowner for a while that don't want to do it themselves, or things like that. And then for it depends on like what target demographic we're talking about in the first place. So door hangers for a different business might work very well with a younger generation, but for younger generations, I think social media works so much better. Like having Facebook ads, Google ads, or things like that, or even being on Twitter and engaging with them that way. It's like, so depending on the age demographics you're talking about, even the different distinction between men and women are going to respond differently to certain things. Like our customer demographic base is mostly males, between 25 and 45. Like we looked at the data and we say that's what our customers look like. So we try to tailor our marketing and our messages around that demographic so we can better serve them and provide value to them.
I love that. Perfect. So guys, you heard it from him. So like, print marketing can, you can get responses from all ages. I'm probably going to assume that with this industry, I feel like print advertising will give you a little bit more advantage for maybe a little bit of the older demographic. Now, granted, I get a lot of customers that are older from online, but you're not going to reach everyone on Facebook or everyone on Google. Some people are still traditional with the way that, they find businesses, whether it's word of mouth or whether it's seeing a sign. Some people still respond to billboards and things like and such. What are some of the other products that you guys offer other than like the yard signs and door hangers? Like what else can we put a logo on? What else can we, brand ourselves with?
Yeah, well, one of our unofficial sayings is we print almost anything. So you think about it. I mean, if you name it, we probably do it. Like pens, custom logo pens. I got one right here. It has our logo on it. It's a metallic looking pen. It's pretty cool. It's got our logo on it. I don't know if you can see it with this. It's really hard to tell in the lighting, but it's got our logo on it. And then also t-shirts, like we do embroidery, like a polo shirt embroidery, and we also do screen printed t-shirts, including polyester, dry fit, all that good stuff. So we can do those as well. Some outside other industry related stuff, banners. We make big banners, or like this back here is not a banner. It's actually a corrugated plastic sign. It's a big sign. So if you want to put it in, like if you have a fence property that has a fence on it and you want to put a big message on there, you can use one of these signs. Yeah, like there's presentation folders, mailers, all kinds of things.
Love that. So let's talk about specifically different budgets. So you talked about earlier on the lower end about $500. If I come to you and I say, okay, I have a $5,000 budget, how would you advise me to kind of spread that budget out across different some of the different marketing material, whether it's investing a certain amount in shirts, yard signs, or door hangers? Like how would I distribute that budget?
Yeah, for sure. Actually, let's say $5,000 budget. You can get everything done. You can get your logo, a professional logo. You can get your vehicle wrapped. You can get like professional embroidered shirts that you can be proud of wearing. You can brand everything. You can have business cards, postcards, yard signs, all that good stuff. And I think you'll still have some left over after that, because 5,000 is a really healthy budget that will be able to push a lot. But let's say if you have $2,000, I still recommend for sure at least a vehicle magnet, somehow branding yourself. When you're on the road and you're stuck in traffic, like you'll be surprised how many people will actually see that sign on your vehicle and think to themselves, oh, I need that service. So they'll snap a picture. So I've seen that happen because we used to have our own vehicle that had what's it called? The magnets. Now we have our vehicles wrapped. So we have the phone numbers on there. So, and then the uniform, I think, is essential, 100% essential. You want to look as professional as possible. You're going to want to look like you have a business, you're established, and people can trust you.
I love that. I think that's super important, guys. That's a great point, because customer perception is everything. Especially when you're offering a service like this. I think branding really, if it was to translate to another word, I would say branding equals like trust or credibility. There's a difference between just being a guy who shows up in a plain t-shirt, unmarked car versus someone who pulls up in a wrapped vehicle and you have uniforms. I mean, it looks more professional. I think it also, when you look professional, it demands higher. Your customers trust you more, or your business more, so more credibility. But like you're able to demand, higher ticket jobs, and and more likely to get hired than this other person over here. And two, with the vehicle, being seen, that it's almost like once your vehicle's wrapped, it's free advertising, because every time you're driving around to jobs, or if you're doing a job and your vehicle's out there, if you have a nice big logo over it, you're advertising your business while you're working. So I think that's definitely one to invest if you're getting started. I would do that as early as possible. Is get your vehicle wrapped or whatever you can afford. If it's just magnets, definitely do that. But have branding everywhere. This is your business, your livelihood. Rock it. Let people know what you do. I think that's just vital. Always constantly be getting the word out. So I think that's definitely a helpful tip. When it comes to, I want to touch back on when it comes down to like postcards or the door hangers. A lot of times I've heard it takes about 7 touches. I've seen this on the internet with marketing, to equal conversion. Can you talk more on that? And people set, helping these guys set expectations for when they put out their marketing, that it might not necessarily be an immediate ROI, but it's planting seeds, and and you might have to do multiple rounds of door hangers before someone hires you. A lot of times people get discouraged. They'll put out, a couple and not get any phone calls, like, oh, this doesn't work. So if you could speak more on that, that'd be great. Yeah,
actually, that's a really good point. And I'm so glad you brought that up, because if you buy 100 door hangers, you put them all out, you might actually not get a call at all. So it's that could be possible. And if that's the only thing that you do, you might not get a call. And here's the thing, you can't actually track your results. So you don't know if your message was wrong, or if you don't know if you went to the wrong neighborhood, or your timing was off. Like there's just so many different factors involved. But let's just say there's a 3% conversion rate. If there's a 3% conversion rate, that means you're probably getting about 10 to 15% actual call to action. So if you have your phone number on there, you get 10 calls. Out of those 10, you get 3 sales. So if you do, like, I'm just throwing these numbers out there. This is like, on average, a good e-commerce website has 3% conversion rate. So that's where I'm pulling that 3% from, the conversion rate, from average e-commerce, average across all industries. So if it's a service-based business, it's going to be a little bit different, of course. So, but we'll just run with the 3%. So if you're putting out 10 yard signs, I guess the yard sign is going to be a little bit different, because the number of people that are seeing it is just so dense. Like you're getting so many eyes on that one yard sign. Whereas with the door hangers, you get one family to see that door hanger. So when it comes to the impression count, the yard sign is going to be a better bang for your buck, because of how many different people are going to see it. So of course, like with yard signs, I think you can do it once and you'll start seeing results. With door hangers, It's almost a little bit more hit and miss, especially because you can't track the results. Same thing with postcards. So at that point, it's a volume game. It's how many houses can you hit? How many areas can you just flood everything, flood these places with it? But also your 7 touch point statement is absolutely true as well. And out of those 7 touch points, it doesn't all have to be print marketing or online marketing. A lot of it can do with follow-ups too, because following up on any lead is probably going to be the foundation of how you get most of your business. If you master following up, you can get so much more business that you would have just otherwise lost. Like when we first started doing marketing, print marketing and all the other type of marketing too, we didn't have a follow-up structure. But based on the data that we've gathered, most people order within 24 hours of actually expressing interest, but there is a significant amount of people, like I'd say 10% of people who order actually order after the first day. And that's a big number. If you think about, if you extrapolate that out, let's say 1,000, 10,000 even, like let's just say 1,000 people, 10% of 1,000 is 100 people. And if we didn't follow up, then we wouldn't have gotten that sale. So I definitely recommend following up. If you got a phone call, find a way to close the deal or find a way to give yourself an opportunity to follow up with them. So if the person's like, let me think about it, you could say, okay, well, when's a good time I can follow up with you about it, just to confirm, to see where you're at with it, something like that. And like kind of securing that conversion, because a lead is expensive and it's not that easy to find leads. So once you got one, you want to see it through and get a hard no. And that's when you move on, hard no or hard yes. So move one or the other. So
those are all great points. Maybe I don't want this question, I don't know if it'll catch you off guard or not, but what are some of the more creative outside of the box ways to utilize print marketing? And what I mean by that is maybe, for example, like maybe I'm trying to think of a specific one that would be like a creative outside the box. Like, everyone's using business cards and, a lot of people using yard signs, but what are some things that are more creative that just maybe leave an extra stamp, or extra mark on your customers that you guys have seen? And this could be for any industry. This could be for pressure washing. It could be for whatever business. But, is there anything you guys have created that you have been like, wow, this is different? Or, like, what are some fresh ideas for utilizing print marketing?
I've seen one and it's pretty unique because, around political time, everybody's got a bumper sticker. Not everybody, people got the bumper sticker of the person that they're supporting for the election. So there was a politician in, I want to say either Montana or North Dakota. And this guy he ordered a lot of different print marketing, but one time he ordered magnets, business card size magnets. And when I asked him about it, he was actually putting those on people's cars. And instead of putting a sticker on their car, he just like goes over there and it says, vote for this guy for this position. And it was just really unique way of using that marketing. So you could potentially do the same thing with other industries as well. I want to say, for instance, roofing, high ticket services, or pressure washing, high ticket services. A lot of customers or a lot of residents have a metal door. So you put a magnet on their door. A magnet to me has practical application. A business card, I could throw it away. But if it's a magnet, I might actually just put it on my fridge and use it as an actual magnet. And I've seen people do that. Other things, calendars. Calendars are pretty expensive though. You're looking to spend like $10 per piece, but the magnets can be maybe like 75 cents to $1 per piece, and you're staying in their face and it's actually usable. Pens is another one. Pens are one of the most easily stolen items unintentionally. So when somebody reaches in their pocket and realizes they stole a pen by accident and it has your logo on it, I mean, they can continue using that pen. So actually, at one point, we made pens that were designed to be stolen or designed to be pocketed. So on it, it's anything awesome created by this pen is property of UZ Marketing. So kind of like a fun, way of saying this is UZ Marketing, just poking fun at the situation, but something that people will remember and potentially even keep. I don't know. I mean, it might get taken by somebody else after that, but your message is there.
I love that. And I asked that question because, once a lot of people start doing the same thing constantly, you have to differentiate yourself. I don't know if you read a book. I read a book a while back. It's called Blue Ocean Strategy. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. But yeah, it talks about blue oceans and red oceans, and and so finding your own lane and being something that's unique and separating yourself in the marketplace. And I think the companies that really stand out today in our marketplace, regardless of any industry, I think are the ones who are in their own blue oceans. They're they're doing things that are more creative outside of the box to capture attention. Whether it's more bold videos or advertisements or bold print marketing that's just like that catches your attention, like, like, wow, or maybe it's a weird pitch. Not obviously not every industry can get away with certain things, but just being able to catch people's attention, because you have very limited time to do that when it comes to marketing before the next, before my attention is grabbed somewhere else. So I think I asked that question because I want to kind of give some guys some ideas to say, hey, okay, cool, about yard signs, about your postcards, or door hangers, but like, what else can you consider doing that will separate your business or give you an edge? And even what I would say, even like the idea of pins, I don't see many pressure washing companies getting branded pins. And so I think, testing out different things. And obviously, like you said, the calendars, this might be more of a higher cost, but I think the more important thing to look at when it comes to marketing is not the cost, but the ROI. Because if acquiring a lead costs me $50, but that client is going to bring me in $1,000, now all of a sudden $50 actually isn't that much money. I would trade that all day if I could.
Yeah.
So more creative ideas, maybe even like, do you guys do hats?
Yeah. Embroidered hats.
Giving, hats that, hats to your customers that, or whatever, just different things, or frisbees if they have dog, or maybe even dog stuff. A lot of customers have pets. That I just thought about that. Like, so many customers have pets. If you get your brand printed on maybe some pet toys or something chewable, for the dog, I think that's a little bit of a slight edge.
Yeah, man, I love that you brought up the blue ocean strategy, man. I have like so much respect for you, more respect for you now because you brought that up. It's such an awesome thing. Like, without giving too many trade secrets, like me being on here is part of our blue ocean strategy. Like, that's one of the things that we're trying to do to kind of improve our presence, our value that we provide to society, to our customer base. So I definitely think that finding your blue ocean, depending on what industry you're in, find it. Sometimes I can give this couple examples. It's not even print related at all. Like, make a quick 5 to 10 second video showing like who you are, what you do, and instead of having a physical business card that you pass out to places, see when you're, I don't know, if you're, depending on what industry you're in, you cold call and say, hey, I just want to see like real quick, 10 seconds. Can I get your email address? I want to send you some information on pressure washing. Is that okay? And then the customer says, yeah, here's my email address. Say, okay, cool. Thank you for your time. And then you send them an email and it's your video business card, and it also has a website in the email itself that you track. So when you go to Google Analytics, you see how many people actually clicked from this email campaign. And then if enough people are clicking on the link from that campaign, you can then do a Facebook retargeting campaign, which is a lot cheaper. Retargeting is so much more cheaper than pay-per-click advertising because the conversion rate is higher. If somebody actually clicked on the link in the first place, they have some level of interest. And if they have some level of interest, it's a little bit more qualified of a lead than somebody who's just like, you're blasting your net out there and hoping some fish come in. So it's like, that's a couple ideas as well.
I love that. Any ideas are helpful. Because like we were just saying, the way, even when you just brought retargeting, like that's actually a pro tip of of having, because now you have a dialed in audience. Like with the yard sign, thousands of people are going to be driving by that sign. Some are just going to be high school kids. Some are going to be people who don't own homes or whatever. Regardless, some people might not have yards. So your sign isn't going to be relevant to everybody. But on that retargeting tip is like, now when you retarget, you're literally putting your advertisement in front of the most likely people to purchase your product or hire your service, whatever it might be. So that's definitely another pro tip there. So you went and grabbed more of you guys of some of the print examples. Would you mind showing us some?
Yeah, I got some. So these are like not finalized prints. So I'm just going to show you. This is obviously, you see, it's we actually normally cut it, but this is a We Buy Houses sign. This is one color on yellow plastic. This is a perfect example of a Bandit sign. Like this thing, like these are usually flooded around cities. So 12 by 18, I think it costs like $1.50 a piece. So these are pretty effective forms of advertising, especially the color contrast. You'll see that this color contrast is very popular among a lot of different industries. And then we have this one. This is actually a washing company applying pressure, the pressure washing services. This is a 18 by 24 yard sign. And this is full bleed. So this is going to be one of those things that you would put on your customer's lawn. So this is this is an example of one of the yard signs that we have. I have a couple more as well. And of course, the mowing services. This is for the landscaping. You can see this is also one color. Ignore down here because it's oh, moving service. I'm sorry. It's not mowing service. It's moving services. So this 12 by 18 sign.
With the yard signs, when you order the yard signs from you guys, do you guys provide the yard stakes too, or do you have to buy those somewhere else?
We have them. We have an
Okay.
option to buy them. Not everybody wants them because they might have some from previous purchase of yard signs, or some people are going to be nailing them instead of staking them. So like if you see this one, I'm showing it backwards so maybe you can see. I don't know if you could tell on the camera, but the corrugation, the flutes are going this way. So because the flutes are going this way, you can't put a stake on it. Otherwise, the stake will look like this. But this is a house washing sign. House washing, gutter cleaning. They did a portrait. If you were talking about standing out from all the other signs, let's say there's like 100 signs, or let's say there's 5 signs in the area that you put this out in. You have to make yours stand out. And if you know you're competing against other washers, then this is standing upright and is portrait instead of landscape. So this is one way to stand out, and especially the blue ink on yellow background. That's one of the things too.
Those are great examples. So guys, I'm gonna highly recommend that, if you're just kicking off your business, that you do, take part of your marketing budget and invest in some yard signs and some Bandit signs. I can't tell you guys the amount of times I've had customers ask me once I washed their home to literally like, do you have a sign you can put in my yard? Like customers literally like, if you do a good job, like if you're not doing a good job, they're not gonna want your stuff. But when you do good work, customers are gonna ask things about that. They're gonna ask for more business cards. They're gonna ask for those yard signs. And I think that's a great way to get free attention, because you've already done all the upfront work of getting that customer. And now it's just like, okay, now you just leave your mark along with, the beautiful house you just cleaned. Now you leave that sign in the yard saying it's like the cherry on top. And now everyone who drives by, they're seeing a clean home, they're seeing good work, and they can directly just be like, oh, okay, this is the company. I think as well too, it'd be helpful like to have a yard sign out even while you're working, because a lot of times customers will be outside and I've been stopped before and asked, like, can I have some cards? But if you have a sign out in the yard, they can just like probably just take a picture of it and keep going about their day. So it doesn't get slowed down too much. So before we end this, is there any other like marketing tips you'd like to, or anything marketing related you'd like to give the audience, or any tips, anything like that?
Yeah, well, marketing, sales, just get on it. Marketing is going to be the way that you generate more revenue. So yeah, I highly recommend, if you haven't started already, do it. Print marketing, get a Google My Business page, and then also get a Facebook page and just post regularly on those things. And then also start your branding, like build a logo, a simple, good, clean logo, represent yourself like a professional industry person, so that you can start scoring those higher ticket jobs, like Zay said. So I definitely recommend just getting started. That's the best thing you could do. And that's so all you got to do, really, just get started. Everything else will follow after that.
I appreciate that. Appreciate your time. We've learned some very valuable marketing tips in this video. Definitely, guys, apply these tips. Really take your marketing seriously if you want to continue to grow your business, and have that strategy in place, because a lot of times what happens is, what I've noticed is that people will start marketing, they'll do it initially, and then what happens is they'll get business and they'll stop marketing. And then they hit a dry patch. And they're like, oh, where'd everybody go? And like, no, you stopped marketing. You did the work to get those initial customers, but marketing is something that needs to be consistently happening. You should never stop marketing, even if you have an abundance of customers. And if you're at a point where you have too much customers, that might be a sign that you need to grow, like, hire more. And you shouldn't have to you shouldn't have to turn down people, or so having those systems in place and consistently marketing, even if you have business, and just, whether you're sending out cards monthly or placing out signs in different areas monthly, take it seriously. Don't be too busy working in your business and not working on it. That was a good tip you gave earlier. So once again, I appreciate your time. Once again, this is UZ Marketing. I will be linking their information in the description of this video. Go check out their business. They obviously do great work, and they're familiar with our industry and related industries. That's pretty much who they work with. They work with pressure washing companies. They work with lawn service companies. Who are some of the other bigger industries you guys work with?
Roofing, tax. Yeah, mostly service-based industries.
Service-based industries. Perfect. All right, guys. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Peace out.
Take care. Thank you.